All right, here we go. Good morning, Mr. Peterik. How are you?
Good to see you, Paul. And I'm doing great. I'm wearing orange, and that's my most favoriteest color besides purple. And if you noticed, I'm going natural lately.
There you
Yeah.
go.
I said to myself, if John Bon Jovi can do it, maybe I can too. So we'll see.
There
See
we
what the
go.
so yeah, I'm going to try going natural for a while. John Bon Jovi's my example. And if people start throwing like plums at me to try to make me purple, I'll change my course. But for now, this is my color.
Sounds like a plan. So, welcome to another edition of Talk of the Tiger. It is in almost it's the middle of September, so the year is progressing, and we
Yeah,
have stuff to talk about. First off,
yeah.
let's talk about this upcoming world stage album, which I understand is actually two upcoming world stage albums called Roots and Shoots.
It's like Certs. Certs is a candy mint. Certs is a breath mint. Boom! It's two mints in one. It's like that,
Yeah,
except totally different.
just like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I know my audience is old enough to remember that really terrible commercial. But anyway, yeah, Jim Peterik World Stage Roots and Shoots, and Volume One. I have to turn it in to Frontiers, my label out in Italy, on the 29th of this month. And they've already heard all the tracks unmastered, but they're like over the top, over the moon about it. And and then that'll release, as they say these days, on January 12th worldwide, including Japan. There's a special bonus track for Japan, as there always is. And then about 4 months later will be volume two of Roots and Shoots, which is all different artists, all different material. But on I happen to have the people involved in Roots and Shoots Volume One: Kevin Cronin and Jim Peterik, Colin Peterik and Jim Peterik, Don Barnes, 38 Special, new artist Paul Childers. So I'm doing Roots Shoots, Roots Shoots. Roots are the the stalwart guys from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. And the Shoots are new discoveries. So Kevin Cronin, obviously a root. Colin Peterik is a shoot. Don Barnes is next up in line. He's a root. So now you get the idea. Paul Childers, a new discovery out of Nashville. Um, Kelly Kagi of Night Ranger turned in an amazing song that we co-wrote. Ashton Brooke Gill, also from, well, she's from New Orleans, an amazing 24-year-old singer-songwriter. Mark Farner with Jim Peterik on Friends Forever, just a wonderful duet. Leslie Hunt, who is, I still consider her a shoot because, well, she's very young, but even though she's been around for a long time in my life, she's still young. She's still a shoot. Mark McKay, an amazing new artist that I'm working with, and then a great duet by Dave Mikulskis and Lisa McLaury, who you're all very familiar about her and my history throughout her career, and it's an amazing duet. So that's Jim Peter, World Stage Roots and Shoots Volume One, releasing January 12th.
And then what about volume two?
Well, I can't divulge that yet, but it's all recorded and we're in the process of mixing that all. But a whole new resume of classic artists and new discoveries.
Awesome. That's a whole lot of new music coming up for the fans. So that's great. And of course, we'll have the details as soon as we have them for you as to when you can pre order and when it's going to be available for streaming and all of that stuff. So the new Dick Biondi film just had a major premiering event at the Bolingbrook Golf Club, and you were there. Talk about it.
Yes, the Biondi film, The Voice That Rocked America. And it really was the voice that rocked America. Dick Biondi was under my pillow when my parents were thought I was sleeping. And that voice just, its signature of
Yeah.
Chicago music. And Pam Police has been just great, creating this amazing movie, which was in its fourth premiere, but it was the first time I got to see it at a packed house at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. It's the first time I saw it. And of course, she greeted everyone. And then she brought on the Crying Shames Unplugged. Of course, Tom Duty couldn't be there, but they did a great job singing all the Crying Shames hits. And I'm in the audience singing along with everyone else. The house was packed. And then I took the stage and I did three, probably my most famous songs. And it was Vehicle, it was LA Goodbye, and of course, Eye of the Tiger. And it was just a huge response. And then got to sit next to Karen and everyone and watch this amazing film about Dick Biondi and how pivotal he was, not only in Chicago, but across the country. He got fired so many times proudly from so many jobs. He had many jobs in New York and in Myrtle Beach, but Chicago was really his home base. And that signature voice, the wild Italiano Dick Biondi, and I didn't do a good one, but he was just incredible. It was a great night of music and friendship, and all the bands were there, and felt just a real camaraderie all around Dick Biondi.
Yeah. It's hard for the younger generation to understand how important guys like Biondi and Landecker and Lujack and all those were, because today there's a million streaming services and radio is just like a tiny part of where you listen to music and stuff. But I mean, Biondi really was a legend. I mean, he was the first DJ in the United States to play the Beatles.
Sure.
And yeah, and back at that point in time, that was the way you heard new music, was from these guys. And somebody like Landecker or Biondi or those, and Art Roberts in Chicago, those guys, if your band didn't get played by them, nobody heard you. So they really were, like the way kids found out about the music, because, like Styx, Lady was just on an album, nobody heard it, and all of a sudden the guy said, I like this song, I'm going to keep playing it until it becomes a hit, and then there it is. So it's hard to understand now just how important guys like Biondi and those were back in the day. And while they really are legends, I mean, that's what drove radio.
So right. That doesn't really happen anymore, but I still listen to the 50s and 60s channel on Sirius, and they have some jocks, kind of from the old school.
Yeah.
And they inject some personality, but it's not like they're premiering new music either.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, good. We'll keep an eye on the film and let you know when it's available wider for, people to view. So good deal. Now there's a special event coming up in Memphis next month, and you and I are packing up the van and we're going on a road trip. Our friend Jimi Jamison, the late great Jimi Jamison, is finally being inducted into the Memphis Musicians Hall of Fame. And you, sir, have been invited to be part of the induction ceremony.
I know it's a real honor to be honoring one of my heroes. I always say that Jimi Jamison was the best voice, well, more than a voice, his whole persona, but let's just say this, the greatest voice that's ever inspired me to write songs. I remember the first time we auditioned Jimi, and Frankie and I had just written The Search Is Over, and I'm playing some of it, and he starts singing along, and I'm going, have you heard this song before? He said, no, I just have a real good ear. And he starts singing it, and this crummy PA we had set up in the carpet warehouse suddenly became a great PA, one of the loudest, clearest voice we ever heard. And I looked at Frankie and goes, holy mackerel, that was Jimi, and he never disappointed us. He always came to the studio ready to go, ready to rock. Ron Nevison said the same thing, that greatest voice he ever worked with. And Ron has worked with everyone, just as we had. So it's going to be a great honor inducting him into this Hall of Fame, and long overdue.
Definitely. I mean, regardless of national or international, I mean, he was one of the biggest things in Memphis music. I mean, Memphis is a town with a lot of music between Stax and Ardent Studios and all of that stuff coming out of Memphis. There's also a good rock scene, and Jimmy was definitely a big part of that. So it's, we all miss the little guy and his goofy sense of humor and that southern drawl he had. But it's awesome to see him being inducted and getting his propers.
I remember Survivor actually lensing our first video with Jimi Jamison, and we're on the set, and I don't even remember what song it was. It might have been I Can't Hold Back or whatever. And we're sweating in the hot sun, and he's doing his part, and he turns to me and goes, "Man, Jim, this movie starring is hard."
Yeah,
and that was him.
Yeah, definitely. All right. And then after that, we don't know all the details yet, but we are gonna throw some snacks in the van, and we're gonna head over to Nashville because there's a big music industry seminar that you're going to be part of, and then there's a special thing that's going to happen. So we'll have some more details as soon as we get the full itinerary. But it's going to be a fun trip.
Yeah, it'll be a great trip. Nashville, it's become my second home. I mean, LA used to be the go-to place for musicians. Now, so much is centered in Nashville.
Yeah.
And not just country, but country and Western. But no, everything.
Yeah.
And everyone lives there. And like some of the artists I'm working with now, like Paul Childers, that's his home, even though he's from further south. But
Yeah.
it's gonna be fun, and so really looking forward to that.
Yeah. A lot of the rockers we know now, you're right, all live in Nashville and surrounding. So it's become all kinds of music centered down there in Tennessee. So
No doubt.
all right. Let's talk about your schedule so people can keep track on the scorecard.
Sure, got it right here. This isn't everything, but it's what I have to announce right now. November 2nd is Jim Peterik, Kathy Richardson, and friends. It's in Elmhurst, the venue to be announced, but it's a benefit show, and everyone is invited. So that's November 2nd in Elmhurst, and that's going to be fun. November 4th, it's what we call the Jive Five, which is Jim Peterik, Bob Berglund, Larry Millis, and Mike Borch, and Scott May. We call them the Jive Five. It's kind of a wise ass version, but it's going to be great. It's at Geneva Theater, and in Wisconsin. So that's going to be fun. December 2nd, Acorn Theater. This is our first Ides of March Christmas show. And there will be another or maybe two more Christmas shows, but that's the first one, December 2nd, Acorn Theater. Let's celebrate an early Christmas. That's all I have now, but more to come.
Yeah, and I'll have all of those details. Some of those are newer gigs that I just got the info on, so we'll get those listed on all of the sites, so you can all get tickets and get out and see them. Anything with Kathy is a party.
Oh my God, she's a force of nature. She was just on that show with me, and she had her cowboy hat on, and Colin was another guest, and it was at Hey Nani, great club, and she always tears the place apart. But it really touched me after Colin did his brand new song. She was at the bar, not necessarily drinking, but at the bar watching us, maybe drinking. But she had big tears in her eyes when I walked past her. I said, "What was that?" She said, "Colin, that was amazing."
Yeah.
As a father, And as a fan of Colin, that meant a lot to me. It really blew Kathy away. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome. All righty. That's it until next time. So you and the lovely Karen go out and start your day. And I'll get this all edited and posted up. And we'll see everybody next time right here on Talk of the Tiger. Have a good day.
Thanks, Paul.
All right.
Great God in heaven, you know I love you.